Hey YouTube, coming at you with the story time today. So I was visiting my grandmother the other day and we were just reminiscing about some funny moments she's had in her life, and this story came up. So I wanted to share it with you guys. Before I start, I just want to make two disclaimers. One, when I say my grandmother, I'm actually talking about my great-grandmother. This woman's not like, 60, 70, no. She was 86 when this story happened, so that will make it at least a little bit more understandable, acceptable, you get what I mean? And second of all, my grandmother is crazy. Like, if you knew her in person, she's crazy. Like, let me tell you about this one time. So, she was living by herself well into her 80s, and there was a time where she had been mowing her lawn and her lawnmower, like the blade stopped working on the lawnmower, so she put the lawnmower in park but didn't turn it off, she just put it in park, and she got down to start the blades up again, and the blades started again and cut her finger, and this is how crazy she is. So she chopped like two of her fingers off, puts them in a bag, and on her way to the hospital she stopped to get coffee. So I'm just going to put that out there as like a disclaimer slash setting the scene and just letting you know how crazy my grandmother is. So this story throws back to freshman year of high school. I was spending the night at my grandmother's house. I had a cross-country meet in the city where my grandmother lived that day. Mind you, this was not the first or the last time I spent the night at my grandmother's house. Yeah, I know, I'm crazy for that one. But she had been widowed for the entire time that I'd been living, at least as far as I can remember. I don't remember her ever having a husband while I was alive. So even though she made out well, she was lonely, so I would spend the night at her house infrequently just to, keep her company and let her know that she was loved and that, we cared about her. Not to say that my family doesn't show that, but, it was just my special way of doing it for her. And then I had asked my mom if I could spend the night afterwards with her and then go to church for the next day. It was Saturday into Sunday. And my mom said okay, my grandmother was cool with it too. So I went through my cross-country meet and then I went to stay with my grandmother, and everything was nice and dandy. Spent the night there, and then the next morning we woke up and went to church, and then after church we came back to her house and she was gonna make me lunch. So I went to go look in her fridge, and when old people eat, like, you just know when you get old your stomach isn't as big, you just don't have as big of an appetite. So I sized up her fridge. She had maybe half a gallon of milk, 3 or 4 eggs, some cold cuts, a couple pieces of bread, and some mayonnaise. Which, for a normal kid, probably would have been a decent lunch, but I was fat, okay? I was a fat kid. So she's like, she sees me looking at the fridge, and she sees the face I make, and she's like, you want to go out to eat, don't you? I was like, yeah. So she's like, where do you want to go? And I was thinking, this was back before Burger King had discontinued the chicken fries for the first time, by the way. And my grandmother lived right down the street from a Burger King. Like, what you would do is you literally just pull out her driveway, go to the end of your street, make a turn, and then the Burger King was right there. Or so I thought, but I'll get to that part. So she asked me where I want to go, and I say Burger King, and she's like, okay, where's the nearest Burger King? And mind you, my grandmother, like, she really did not use her car for anything except to go to the grocery store once a week, to go to the church once a week, and to get her hair done every other week. Like, she was really low maintenance. She really didn't use her car for much, so she didn't really know where things were. So I was like, oh, like, there's one right down the street, you know what I mean? Like, there's one so close to your house. And she's just like,
bitch, where?
and I was like, there's one literally right there. So anyway, so I'm just like, here, just get in the car and I'll tell you how to get there. So we get in her car and we pull out the driveway, and then I tell her how to get there. So I told her to make a right out of her driveway and then make another right when you get to the end of her street, and then Burger King was right there. Which technically was true. So we get out of her driveway, pull out, we make a right, and then we get to the end of the street and make a right. And then halfway down the street, I see a car coming our way, and I realize that this is a one-way street. So I'm like, grandmother, like, you gotta turn. We can't keep going this way. It's a one-way street. So she makes the quickest, she just makes the craziest U-turn. Like, we're literally like right into someone's lawn. And I'm like, okay, grandmother, like, slow down. You need to chill. So obviously it was a one-way street. It was really thin, so we end up on someone's lawn. So I'm like, okay, just ease your way back into the street. So she floors it, and we are still this person's lawn, angled at not their house, but the house that was next door to them. We are literally headed for this house's porch. And at first I'm just sitting there, like, taking it in, like, not really understanding what's going on. Then it hits me, like, oh my god, we're about to crash. I'm like, grandmother, stop, grandmother, stop. And she literally managed to stop at the last minute, and she, like, my head flew into the dash, like, it was just terrible. And so after the moment settles, luckily everything was fine, we didn't hit anybody or anything, luckily. So after that had all settled down, we were all calmed down, she starts maniacally laughing. Meanwhile, I'm here in the passenger seat. I just had a freaking heart contusion. I'm just like, so yeah, my grandmother almost killed me. So after that, we managed to get to Burger King, and I ate my food, and then my parents picked me up. And I didn't say a word about this story. I didn't tell anybody about this story because, snitches get stitches. I was not about to be the person to throw my grandmother under the bus. But a couple years after that, my grandmother went to move in with my aunt, her daughter, and as soon as that happened, we didn't necessarily take away her license, but she sold her car, and my aunt agreed to drive her everywhere, so she was basically not driving anymore. So as soon as that happened, I was like, wow, now that she's not driving, let me tell you this funny story. So that's my story time. Hope you like this video. If you do, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll be back with more videos. Alright, see you next time. Bye.